Alright, somebody come on. I'm waiting for people to come on. I can't tell. Okay, I see the number 2 up top. I guess that means 2 people are watching. Hi, my name is Gina Davis. I'm going to give it a few minutes, but I just want to share a good story, a testimony with you. Just want to give it another minute. Again, my name is Gina Davis. I live in Bullard, Texas. I'm a film writer and producer. I see the number 3. If y'all want to hear a good testimony, tag your friends, please. If you have questions anytime, please ask. I'm going to go ahead and start. I just want to share my testimony with you, and I just hope and pray I don't forget anything, and forgive me if I jump back and forth, but I have so much to share. I'll start sharing and then I'll think of something else, and then kind of like the mind of a squirrel sometimes. But hey, again, my name is Gina Davis, and I had mentioned I was going to start a live yesterday, but when the time came, I got off lunch break late, and I was in a bad reception area, so I changed it to today. And anyways, I'm writer and producer of Lost and Found: A New Beginning. It's a faith-based movie, and it all came about from just the power of prayer, God answering my prayer. Try and say this without crying. Hey Terry. A few years ago, hang on a second. I've got this. A few years ago, my daughter was in 8th grade, middle school. And she came home and told me that there was this new kid at school. This is when we first started going to church and getting to know people in the community. And so we weren't really big in church at this time, but we were beginning to, grow with the community in the church. She came home one day from middle school and said, "Mom, there's this new guy at school said that he worships Satan." And I was floored. I was like, "You've got to be kidding me. He's in 8th grade. He has no idea what he's doing." And it bothered me. It really weighed heavy on my heart. So I told her, I said, "Well, what about his parents? What about his mom, his dad? Do they know this?" And she told me at a later time that his dad was an atheist, and he's been in prison his whole life. In and out of prison his whole life, and his mom was basically a heavy drug user, and his dad was atheist, so he didn't believe in God, but he actually worshiped Satan at the time. And I was floored. I was like, I prayed for him. I'd never met this kid, but I started praying for him and his family. And she would tell me that he would go to school with the satanic star drawn on his clothes, and that he would do candle rituals and sacrifices and all that stuff. And I was like, this is crazy. Well, anyways, I told her, I said, this is really weighing heavy on my heart. Why don't you invite him to church? And she was like, "Mom, he would laugh in my face." And I said, "There's a reason that you met him. There's a reason that you told me. And there's a reason that this is heavy on my heart." So she went to school and she invited him. He didn't laugh in her face. He said, "I have to ask my grandma." And so he had forgotten that first Wednesday to ask his grandmother. I guess she was his only way of transportation. Anyways, so it took 3 weeks of reminding him to ask his grandmother if he could come to church. And so finally, well, back up a little bit. The more I prayed for this family, the more my eyes were open to people in public. Like everywhere I went, I would see people, then it was just like in my heart that they needed God. Well, it was about 3 weeks I was at work after her reminding him. And actually, I had told her to invite her girlfriend, her friend, that's a girl, to church. And I knew that they liked each other, this boy and this girl. I said, invite both of them to church. If we can get them both to come to church, they can both get the word of God. And if they like each other, of course, they're going to find a way to meet at church. And so, be touched by God's word. Well, she calls me at work one day. And she says, Mom, they're going to come with me home after school, and you're going to take us to church. And I was like, you're kidding me. I promise you, this is something that I didn't know at the time, but I know now. The second I hung up the phone, it's like the devil was, whispering to me, you idiot, why are you inviting a satanic worshiper to your house? He can do, cast spells on you and your house or whatever. You've got a family to protect. You've got kids to protect. How could you do this? You better change your mind and tell him never mind. And I thought, oh my gosh, I can't tell him no. So on my way home, I was praying about it and I called a friend. She prayed for me. And I was so scared because I didn't know what to expect. I'd never seen a satanic worshiper. I didn't know what they looked like or what they could do or anything. So anyways, I got home and I was so scared I almost passed out walking down the hallway. That's how scared I was. Anyways, I got to the room that they were playing video games, and I got to the room, and I promise you, the second I opened the door and made eye contact with this kid, all fear vanished instantly. And I saw a normal teenage boy. And I thought, oh my gosh, what was I expecting? Of course, now I see back then it was, the enemy trying to stop me. But I guess when he realized he wasn't going to stop me, he gave up. So resist the enemy and he will flee. So anyways, we got them to church, and we were sitting in the sanctuary, and I happened to look down. I saw on his jeans the satanic star drawn on his jeans, and I was like, oh my goodness. I didn't say anything, but anyways, I got the message relayed to the youth pastor that was going to be teaching when he and this girl were in the class. And so I heard later that he gave a very powerful sermon to the kids. And anyways, that was the only time that they came to our church. And then I found out later that he got invited to another church, and so he went to the other church. I don't know how long he went there, but that was about the last that I saw or heard from him, or heard about him. The more my eyes were open to people in public that needed God, the more it was weighing heavy on my heart. So I just asked God, is there anything I can do to help people in the world like this who need you? And I had a dream, and it was about the movie Lost and Found: A New Beginning. And so I woke up one night. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I remember sitting up in my bed, and I said, I'm going to write a movie. And then I laid back down and went to sleep. And the following morning I got up, and it was like all in my heart. All the movie. I mean, it's like it was there, but it was kind of, it's weird how to explain how this worked. But I got one of those big old legal yellow notepads, and I just started writing every free minute that I had. And it was like the story was just unfolding as I wrote it. I'd never written films before or screenplays before. I've never worked in film before. But it's amazing how God led me through all of this, and he provided everything that we needed. So I would write. I work full time, and so I would write on my lunch break. I would write in the evenings when I got home from work. I spent all weekend writing, and it took me about 4 weeks to write it. And I remember, the enemy's going to try to stop you anytime you're trying to do something for God, and you have to really keep your guard up, and also stay, prayed up, I guess they call it. The enemy will use your family, your friends to get you down, to stop you, to turn you around, to get your mind off of what you're doing for God. And at the time I didn't realize it, but now I do. I didn't realize at the time that I was neglecting my family. I was so driven and full of energy to get this written. And I came inside the house one day and someone said, "Who do you think you are?" And I'm like, "Excuse me?" He said, you tried the selling that electricity, it didn't work. You tried the medicinal juice, it didn't work. You tried the dance studio, it didn't work. What makes you think this is going to work? You have a job, you have a family, you have a home, you have everything you need. Why do you keep doing this? Why do you spend all your time doing this? Do you plan on leaving your family, going to Hollywood to make this movie? And I'm like, no. Well, it that got to me, and again I didn't realize that was the enemy trying to stop me. But for 2 weeks, every time I picked up the pen, like before this happened, every time I picked up the pen, the movie was just flowing out. I wrote and wrote and wrote and wrote. But after this conversation, every time I picked the pen up, there was nothing there. There was like a block there, and I couldn't think of what to write. And I became like a zombie. I became so I don't know how to explain it, but I didn't feel myself. I didn't have any energy. I didn't have any joy. I would come home and just lay on the sofa because every time I tried to write something, nothing was there. And so I was coming down Highway 69 one day. This was 2 weeks later. And I turned by Brookshire's on Lynch Street, and I had my window down, and I was like, God, so many people are committing suicide. So many people are dying in car wrecks. Were they saved? What if what if they had seen this movie, would they have, got saved? And, anyways, I got home, and I was like, God, you gave me this movie, and it's like, I've got half of it written, but now nothing is coming to mind anymore. What am I supposed to do? Anyways, I got home, and I promise you, within 30 minutes, 5 scenes in the movie happened right in front of my face. And it was like God saying, get back to work. So, the second I picked up the pen, the rest of it just came out. And I finished writing it. I was so happy when I finished writing it, but I'm like, okay, now what? I don't have the millions of dollars it takes to make a movie. I don't have a clue what to do. I got in touch with a Christian movie producer in Weatherford, Scott Mendez. And he's a pastor, but he's also a filmmaker for faith-based westerns. And he said, well, you need to make like a small trailer so we can get it in front of investors. I thought, okay, well, how am I going to make a trailer? I don't even know what to do. I don't have a camera. I don't have anything. I don't have the money. So I thought, well, I need to raise the funds. I need to raise money to get a camera. I need to raise money to do what we need to do. And I thought, well, how much do I need? I don't know. Well, I kind of made a budget out with everybody being volunteer. Actually, let me back up a second. I actually looked at Kendrick Brothers for when they made Flywheel. That was their first movie. And they actually have a DVD that they sell that has all their strategies from A to Z of how they made their first film. And that was my guideline. That's what I went by. But I first had to get the trailer. So I went through the script and tried to find some good scenes. I needed a camera guy. So I was at church one day. Let me back up. Sorry, my squirrel brain. I was at church one day. This was during the 2 weeks that I was depressed because I couldn't think of what to write next. They were having senior recognition day after church, and I was like, well, I don't know any of those kids up there, so I'm just going to look at my Bible or the bulletin or whatever. And of course I was just being depressed and didn't, I don't know, I just didn't. Anyways, they were going across, they were saying the kids' names and what they were going to go to school for, and I heard Tyler Hooker's going to filmmaking school, and I was like, hold up, which one of you's Tyler Hooker? So anyways, I knew of Tyler, and then I knew his mom. I worked with her with the children's group in church. So I got in touch with Tyler's mom, Donise, and I always got in trouble for calling her Donnell, but anyways, I've got it down now as Donise. Anyways, she said, yeah, let me talk to Tyler and we'll see what we can do. So he contacted me, and we worked together ever since then. He had been working in films, and that's his dream and passion, is to be a filmmaker. And today I believe that's still God's purpose for him, because he's really good at what he does, and he tries so hard to work for the Lord. And found out that he knew how to film. So anyways, I contacted Central Baptist Church. I know the pastor there. He's a patient of ours at the dental office I work at. And he said, well, let me talk to my congregation. Well, they ended up giving me $500. I actually had t-shirts. Let me show you. I had t-shirts made up to give for any donations. And the front of the t-shirt has this shirt. Of course, it's wrinkled. It says, this shirt is helping to fund the movie Lost and Found a New Beginning. And on the back, it has the Bible verse, Jeremiah 29:11. So I saved up the money to get these shirts, and actually people gave donations and received a shirt as well. And I raised enough money to get the camera, and you have to have insurance, you have to have rental fees, all this stuff. And anyways, we found someone at church who allowed me to film at his house, and then a police officer came in town and filmed the police chase. So we got a little short film, or a trailer made, and I gave it to Scott Mendes. Well, he was going to go to Los Angeles to speak to some investors, and I never heard a word about it after that. Well, I thought, I can't just, sit on my thumbs and, not do anything about it. I feel like this really needs to be done. Well, I remember one day praying, I was like, God, it would be so cool if I could do like Tyler Perry, where he wrote and produced and directed and acted in his movies. And I thought that would be so cool if I could do that. But I never thought I would be doing something like that. It's pretty cool. I've got so much to say. I don't want to miss anything, but, so Tyler and I were talking, and I told him that I had heard, no, I'm sorry. Scroll brain again. Okay, one day, no, it was 2 years. 2 years I looked for a producer to pick up this film and to produce it for me, because I didn't know what to do. Well, I would come in touch with in contact with a producer, and every time something would fall through. There's 4 producers actually that I got in touch with, and every time something would fall through and nothing was done. One producer wanted me to cut half the movie out, cut half the actors out, and I thought, if I did that, that's not the dream that God gave me, so I can't do it. Well, he dropped me. So anyways, another one told me, if you come up with $80,000, we'll come up with $80,000 and we'll produce this movie. And I thought, well, I don't have $80,000. Anyways, so I was praying one day, and I was like, God, what am I supposed to do? This movie is sitting here collecting dust, and I keep feeling the urge to get it produced, but I don't know where to go or what to do. I need to know what to do. It was that day I got on YouTube, and I was looking at filmmakers on YouTube, and I came across Alex Kendrick, from the Kendrick brothers, who have made War Room, Flywheel, Courageous, Fireproof, Facing the Giants. Anyways, their first movie was Flywheel. I listened to his testimony, and after he said his testimony about Flywheel, which y'all should hear it one day, it's so good, I thought, oh my gosh, if he can do that, I can do that. And so I got in contact with Tyler, and I said, listen, this is what Alex Kendrick did. We can do that. And he's like, Gina, I tried to tell you that before. And I'm like, no, you didn't. He's, yes, I did. Anyways, we thought, well, all we can do is start by having an audition, and everybody will have to be volunteer, of course, just like they did with Flywheel, because I didn't have the funds to hire actors. And so Scott Mendes had told me, so when you have auditions, you need to be prepared for hundreds of people to show up. And I thought, oh no, I said, if hundreds of people show up and I only need, say, 100 people, I don't want to turn people away that want to do something for God. And so again, I prayed, and I'm like, God, please don't let anybody come that can't be in the movie. I said, whoever comes, I'm going to have to cast them in the movie one way or another. Because I can't turn anybody away who wants to work for God. Well, we had auditions, and we ended up getting all the actors we needed except for the 5 main actors of the movie. But we did get extra people that wanted to be in the movie. And I thought, okay, well, I'm going to have to cast them in here some way. So I ended up adding extra scenes in the movie and extra characters in the movie, which got me in the movie a little bit. Anyways, I needed the 5 main actors. And I'm like, God, what am I supposed to do? We need the 5 main actors. Well, Jordan Johnson in the movie, he's the main character, the 15-year-old boy. I thought in my mind, during auditions, all the boys that auditioned for Jordan, it wasn't in my heart for any of them to be Jordan. And I thought, God, it's like I had in my heart, I knew that I would know who it was when I met this person. Well, I was going to church one night on a Wednesday night, and I always sat in one spot. Well, the whole church was full. There was nowhere to sit. And somebody was sitting where I always sit. And I was like, y'all are in my seat. Anyways, it's okay. So I backed up a little bit, and I'm looking for somewhere to sit. And there was one short pew with one boy sitting in it. And I promise you, the second I sat down, I heard God say, "Here's your Jordan." And I looked over at him, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's him. I feel it in my heart, that's him. And so I had an audition flyer. It was, even though it was past audition date, I still had some extra flyers in my purse, so I gave him one. And the next day, I guess, I'm not sure if it was his aunt or somebody that he was staying with, gave me a call, and she said, my son and Tanner wants to audition for your movie. And I thought, okay. She said, but they've never acted. I said, it's okay. We can work with them. So they came to church the following Sunday, and we waited till after church, and they auditioned, and oh my gosh, they both were perfect. So anyways, I got my main character, Jordan. Well, then I needed Jordan's mom, Sandra. She was a mother addicted to drugs, and I thought, well, nobody auditioned for Sandra for this movie. Nobody. And I thought, what am I going to do? I could try to do it myself. I don't know. But I thought, I can't go up and ask somebody, will you be my drug mom in my movie? Anyways, another day at church, I was like kind of moping around after church, and my friend walked up, Leanne Brown, and she said, why do you look so sad? And I said, because I need a drug mom in my movie and I can't find one. And she said, what do you want me to do? Well, she floored it. If you see the movie, Leanne Brown, who plays Sandra, who is Jordan's mom, she was amazing in the movie. Then I needed Jordan's dad. And I thought, well, the guy that we had chose had been in several movies, and he was the perfect actor for the part. He looked like he could be Tanner's or Jordan's dad in the movie. And then we had the table read, and he didn't show up. We had the first day of filming, he didn't show up, and I thought, what am I going to do? I have to have somebody who can look like Jordan's dad in the movie. Well, I remembered one day when we were filming that a lady, her son had long brown hair like Jordan did. So I text her, and she's like, no, he's only 23. And I'm like, oh, I know he can't be the father of a 15-year-old in a movie. So I thought, God, what am I going to do? Well, then she replied, what about my husband? And I said, what does he look like? Send me a picture. Well, she sent me a picture, and he was clean. He was shaved bald. And I thought, he's perfect. She said, but he's never acted. I'm like, that's okay. We'll work with him. So we got him in, and he floored it. If you see the movie, Jordan's dad is amazing. He's in prison the whole time, but he comes to find Christ in the movie in prison, which he was an atheist before. Then I needed, let's see, I got the mother, the father, Jordan. I needed the grandmother. There was one person I had in mind to be the grandmother, but you can't just approach somebody and ask them to be a grandmother, because then they'll be offended by saying, are you telling me I look old? So I couldn't do that. Let me back up. Sorry, squirrel mind again. For the dad, for Jordan's dad, I did ask one of my daughter's friend's dad, because he looked to me that he could be the part. And when I asked him, I told him I need a prison dad, or a dad that's in prison. And he looked at me, or no, it was on the phone, and he said, "Are you telling me I look like a prison dad?" And I was like, "Oh my gosh, no sir, no sir." And so he said, "Well, let me talk to my wife and I'll get back with you." Well, he never did. Anyways, the rest of the story you already know. But I needed a grandmother, and the person that I had in my mind, I couldn't bring myself to ask her, because I didn't want to offend her, make her feel like she'd be old enough to be a 15-year-old's grandmother, which she was. But anyways, she said she wanted to be in the movie, and I'm like, "Well, who would you like to be?" And I'm praying, I'm in my mind, I'm like, "Come on, say you want to be the grandmother. Say you want to be the grandmother." She didn't say it. Well, later she finally did, and I'm like, "Finally, you come around." Anyways, last minute came up to film, and she messaged me and said, "I'm not going to be able to make it to set today because her son was sick." She said, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, what am I going to do?" Well, she ended up sending me to Tony Johnson. And she showed up on set. She said, "I've never acted before." And I'm like, "It's okay. We can work with you. You can do this." And of course, we prayed before every time we filmed. We would pray, and God would always just show up and help us in every way. But if you see the movie, you will see the grandmother, Lenine, did an awesome job. This movie could not have been done without everybody that came on board and did this volunteer. Everybody was volunteer, including myself. We finally, oh gosh, there's so much more I could share with you. Maybe if you can't stay on, you can come back and watch the rest later. But I was allowed to film at Brookshire's and Bullard. We were allowed to film at Four-Way Cafe in Flint. We filmed at Bullard High School. We filmed at the Bullard Park. We filmed at the retired jail in Palestine, Texas. Where else did we film? A lot of people's homes. We filmed at First Baptist Bullard. We filmed at Flint Baptist in Flint. In ER, ER. Excel ER, I think is what it's called, the emergency room in Tyler. We filmed, several places. I was so grateful that these people let us film there. We finally got the full feature made, and ended up being too long. And I thought, oh my goodness, we're going to have to cut half of this out. Being a filmmaker and a writer, everything that you write or film is from your heart. You just can't bring it to take it out. I ended up having to take 30 minutes out of this movie. I don't know how many scenes we had to take out. Amazing scenes, but we had to choose. And anyways, it's 2 hours and 3 minutes long. We do have a couple of deleted scenes that played during the credits, so if you watch the movie, watch to the end of the credits. We had I think 777 people that donated, got a t-shirt and donated for this feature film to be made, and their names are all in the credits at the end of the movie. We had people that had music, amazing Christian music that allowed me to put in this movie. Kingsley Green has really good songs, and then Paul Rourke, his song is Collide, which is When Heaven and Earth Collide. It's a really good song. And then of course Joel Rando, he let me use his music. He's also the doctor in my movie, and he's also a father at the park in my movie. So many people. You're more than likely going to recognize somebody in the movie. We had, we had to have over 100 actors. Of course, most of them, half of them will be extras. But anyways, on the front of the DVD, it has, God, if you're real, find me because I can't find you. That's actually a scene in the movie. You'll see it in the trailer as well. This came from a preacher one day that came to my office, and he said, I have a story to share with you. And he said that every day he always prayed that God would lead somebody across his path that needed God, and that God would speak through him. And he said one day he and his wife and the associate pastor were going to eat at a restaurant. And well, this was like, years after him praying this all the time. So he never really thought this day that was God answering his prayer. But they went to a restaurant, and they were talking about something when they walked in. And he said that the second he walked in, he felt in his heart to look to his right. And they were seated, and he looked to his right, and he saw a guy sitting at a booth. And he said he could feel it, in his spirit, that this guy was hurting. The way the guy was, just slouched over, and you could just see it in his face that he was sad. And in his mind, he's like, I got to go over there and say something to him, but I don't know what to say. He said that he didn't say anything to his wife or the associate pastor during this conversation about this guy, but he kept looking over there, and he kept feeling that urge and the pull to go over there. He said after they finished eating that the associate pastor said, well, we're done eating, you're all ready to go. And his wife said, no, we're not. And he was like, well, we're finished eating, why aren't you ready to go? And she said, you need to go. She said to her husband, you need to go say something to that man in that booth. And he said that was his first confirmation from God, because he had not mentioned anything about him to her at this time. He thought, I know. He said, I know, but I don't know what to say. And she said, don't worry about it. God will speak through you. And he's like, I don't know. So he hesitated, and he's like, just forget it, let's go. She's like, are you sure? And he said, yeah, let's just go. I don't know what to say to him. So he said, I've never met the guy, I don't know what to say to him. Well, he said he stood up, and the second he pushed the chair under the table, he felt like a huge heavy weight on his feet. And that was his second confirmation. He's like, I have to go over there and say something to this man, but I don't know what to say. And so he slowly started to walk to the table, and he was praying the whole time, God, speak through me. And he got to the table, and he said, excuse me, sir. And the man slowly looked up at him. He said, yeah. And the preacher said, I know that I don't know you, but Jesus Christ knows you, and he loves you. He died for you. Call out to Jesus, and he will help you. And the man looked at him, puzzled for a second, and he said, thank you. And the preacher said, can I pray for you? And he's like, sure. So he sat down and he prayed for him, prayed over him. He gave him a church card, and he left. And he said for weeks he kept thinking, who was that? What was that about? Why did God have me do that? I don't even know who this is. So he kept looking at his email, kept, waiting for him to call or text or email or come to the church. And he said he never did. And he said months went by, and it still was heavy on his heart. What was that about? And he said it was a year later that this guy's brother came to the church, and he sat on the last pew in the back of the church, where a lot of people like to sit. He sat on the last pew, and he said he noticed a different face, and so he wanted to make sure and get to know, meet and introduce himself to him. But you know how the line gets long after church, and he didn't get a chance to talk to him. But this guy ended up walking out the door where the associate pastor was standing, shaking hands. And he said that he walked out and he shook his hand, and he said, I want you to know something. He said, a year ago today, my brother had lost everything. He said, he said he was in his bed, and he opened the drawer in the nightstand and pulled out a pistol, and he put it to his head. And that he remembered, growing up, hearing every now and then there's a God, there's not a God, but that he never really searched or prayed or looked for God in any way. And it was just, that's pretty much a lot of our population in the world today. People hear there's a God, people hear there's not a God, and that's it. So anyways, he said his I guess in his spirit, he was hearing, call out to God, call out to God. He slammed the pistol down, and he just yelled out, God, if you are real, find me, because I can't find you. And that's the day that pastor walked up to that guy and told him to call out to Jesus. So, anyways, it's hard to tell that story without crying. But, anyways, there's so much more that I could share with you. And, I'd love to get on here. If y'all have any questions or anything that I could talk about, let me know. And, I haven't looked at any of the messages right now because, I didn't want to mess up anything I was saying about, because I have squirrel mind, start talking about something else and then something else, and then I forget what I was talking about to begin with. But anyways, this movie could not have been made with everybody that came on board to help, or everybody that donated, locations that were, opened up to us. Anyways, there's so much more that I could share, and I'll probably more than likely think of a lot of things that I didn't say today, that I want to say, and so I'll do another live another time, I'm sure, because I know for a fact there's a lot of things I'd like to say that I can't think of right now because my mind is kind of like squirrel. Anyways, the movie is now showing at Times Square Cinema in Tyler, Texas. They're going to give us 4 viewings to start out. Y'all know this world needs more of Jesus right now than ever. We need more faith-based movies now than ever. There are, I know there's a lot of faith-based movies out there, but this one is, I don't know, I guess because I don't know, God gave it to me. I think it really needs to get out, and I'm just pushing and pushing to get it in the world. They're showing it this Monday, the 21st, and this Thursday, the 24th, at 12:20 p.m. and at 7 p.m. They're pushing for people to pre-purchase the tickets, because if they do that, then they're going to start adding more showtimes. If we don't do that and people don't go see it, then I'm only going to get those 4 viewings. So I'm trying to get it around to churches and to businesses. I went and had some flyers made up, and I don't know where to take them. I contacted radio stations, but they only will advertise if I am nonprofit with a 501(c) or whatever you call that. And then I contacted the the TV stations, and they're not replying. And, I know the enemy's going to try to stop this. But we've got to push through. We've got to keep on, resist the enemy, and he will flee. If you have time, go see the movie or pre-purchase tickets. If you can't go, pre-purchase tickets for a friend or someone who will be touched by this story. You can see the trailer at Times Square Cinema. I think it's tylermovies.com. Type in the date, September 21st, and you will see Lost and Found in that list of movies that they're showing. It tells the synopsis, and it shows the trailer. Or you can go to my website, which I have my testimony there, and I have some bloopers there. I have the trailer. I have my story. I have or my bio. I have what else? Oh, a lot of stories or testimonies of how I met a lot of the actors, and how God, made us cross paths one way or another, and made all this happen. But my website is www.laf, the letters LAF, the number 1, production.com. So it's LAF1 PRODUCTION.com. So anyways, again, this could not have been done with so many people that helped. And I do have a second movie coming out. I'm just trying to get the funds to do it. It takes a lot of money to make a movie. So far, I have 2 cameras. But, Tyler, he wants to help, but he works 2 jobs. So we have to see what we can do. I don't know how this can work. I need prayers, because the second movie is reaching out to our youth. It's a faith-based comedy. I would say probably 95% of it is based on true events. It's just from different events, different people's lives made into one story. A lot of things that happened to me in my life, childhood, growing up, friends, family, stories about them growing up, and then stories that I hear, things that I hear kids say that are just so funny. This movie is, you have to, when you watch I have a short film on it. It's like 10 minutes long. It's on YouTube. It's called I'll Never Leave You Never by Geena Davis. And actually I have an Indiegogo page started, but I can't seem to get people to go to it. I've got a few people, but I thought by now I would have had, something donated. I don't know, but I have on there that if you donate, you will get a DVD once the movie is produced, and I have DVDs made. You will get a DVD for sure, in return for donating to this fundraiser. What else? Go watch the trailer. Go watch the trailer for Lost and Found a New Beginning, but also on my website or thetylermovies.com. Please go take the time to go see the movie or buy tickets for someone else if you can't make it. Please share this information about this movie showing to all your friends and family, because if we don't get enough people to see this movie in these 4 times of viewing it, then it's going to stop at that. And so all the proceeds of this movie is going to go towards the next movie, to film the next movie. But I would love for you to see the short trailer on the second movie as well. Again, it's I'll Never Leave You Never, and that's based on the verse I'll never leave you, I'll never forsake you. But it's I'll Never Leave You Never. I think it's movie trailer by Geena Davis, Ginadavis. It's on YouTube, but it's also on Indiegogo, and I also have that on my Facebook page. So if you can search down my Facebook post, you'll see the trailer right there. All you do is click on it, and you can watch it, and you can also read about the story on the Indiegogo page. So I'm so happy to get this out there. I know I have 1,000 other things I want to share with you, how God is moving, and just pray that if you have a big dream that God's given you, don't ever give up. Fight until you get it done. Anyways, God bless you all. And I'm going to go through all my messages here in a minute. And actually, I don't know if I have any messages. Let's see. If I have any questions, I'm looking for questions here. Gary Cannon with I hope I get the name right. East Lake Volunteer Fire Department. Those guys came out and did an amazing job. Oh my goodness, there's a fire department that they go above and beyond 24/7 to help people in need. They'll get up in the middle of the night to go stop a fire. These guys are amazing. But they came out and helped with this movie, and you'll see they did an amazing job when you watch the movie. Cherokee County Sheriff's Department, sent their police cars and officers to Bullard, Texas, to help film this movie. They actually didn't charge me anything. They came and did this because it's a faith-based movie and just helping out. They did an amazing job. I think his name is Captain Butler, who's the one who okayed it. Let's see. You know what? I'm gonna get T-shirts for this next movie, because that really was a help. For one, I do promise a DVD once the next movie, I'll Never Leave You Never, is produced. For any donations, you can donate at Indiegogo.com, or my post office box is P.O. Box 374, Bullard, Texas. Or you can message me on Facebook and we can make arrangements for any kind of donation. Just anything helps, and it all adds up. So, and if you would like to be in the second movie, also let me know, because we'll be filming here locally again, and hopefully soon, because these kids in the world, there's so many kids in the world who don't believe in God now, and they think it's a joke. They have no idea how serious this is. And of course, if these kids are saying this, think about their parents. They must be thinking the same way, that there is no God. They don't believe in God. So our youth are our future. So we have got to get faith-based movies. And this is a comedy also. Laughter's medicine to the soul. My daughter got in trouble one time for laughing in class, and she told the teacher, my mama said that God said laughter's medicine to the soul. So yeah, she got in trouble for that. Anyways, let's see. Yeah, but I'm gonna get t-shirts. I've been saving money every time I get paid, so I'm gonna get some t-shirts, at least 100. But it costs so much money to get these shirts that it's like $700 to get 100 shirts. So the last time I made the mistake of ordering so many of each size, but if I could get shirt size request sent in, I would know more of how many of each size to get, because I would be out of one size and have too much of another size that nobody needed. So, but anyways, I'm thinking on the front it's going to be the ribbon, just the film ribbon, just like the first movie, and it's going to say this shirt is helping to film the movie I'll Never Leave You Never, with the movie ribbon. And then on the back it'll have the Bible verse. I think it's Deuteronomy 31:6. Where God says, I think it's to be strong, but it's, I'll never leave you, I'll never forsake you. So, yeah, I'm going to do that. Sorry for my squirrel brain here. Any questions? Thank you all for your beautiful messages in your prayers. I don't see any questions. So if anybody has any questions, message me and I will definitely answer it on the next live. I'm praying for you all and ask for your prayers in return. This movie needs more of God right now, more than ever, and I know that y'all know that. It takes a lot to make a movie. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of it's a lot of work. There's so much behind the scenes that you never know until you go through it. But I do have to have insurance. I have to hire a camera crew because Tyler's working 2 jobs. So, and he was the one who actually was the only camera guy through the whole Lost and Found movie. He did an amazing job. He did all the editing. I would come in and help with editing sometimes, but I would basically sit and watch how powerful. I mean, he was just so awesome in how he was doing it. And, also Austin Deptula, he helped with getting a lot of the noise sound and the color correction in the movie that we needed help with. What's his name? There's so many people that helped with this movie, and there's so many names I could mention, but right now my brain is like, anyways. So where was I? Squirrel. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, this world needs lots of God right now, and if God gives you a dream, don't ever give up. Don't ever stop. You go for it, and God will He'll lead the way. He'll open doors that need open, and He will supply all of your needs. Our God shall supply all of our needs according to His riches and glory in Christ Jesus. And I pray that this movie, Lost and Found, will be requested more and more at Times Square Cinema. And if it is, they'll give more viewings. And Sherwood Productions, which was the Kendrick brothers, their first movie was Flywheel, and they produced it on a $20,000 budget. They actually went up to their local cinema and asked them to show the movie, and they gave them 1 weekend to show it. I think it was a Friday and a Saturday. So they showed it that 1 weekend, and they ended up getting more requests for it, so they ended up showing it for 6 whole weeks. So if you like the movie, please share it. Invite people, tell people about it on your social media. Please share it. I have the trailer on Facebook where anybody can see the trailer. I have my website on social media. It's under Lost and Found by Gina Davis, and I think it's on Gina Davis page as well. Again, my website is www.laf, which is for Lost and Found, laf1, the number 1, production.com, laf1 production.com. You can message me with any questions or concerns. I'm rambling at the mouth now, so God bless you all. I love you all, and I just ask for your prayers, and I pray for you as well. I hope y'all have a blessed day, and get out and get some sunshine on your skin. I think, is it vitamin K the sun gives you, or D, something like that? But you need it. You need it. Stay hydrated, everybody. I tell my kids all the time. Anyways, I love you all, and I thank you, and I hope y'all have a blessed day. How do I stop this live? Finish. Okay, bye.